Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this series of videos, I'm going to take a rough rock or a slab and I'm going to take you through my whole process of how I make a cabochon. Today we got a chunk of Pinolite. Let's make a cabochon. So you're probably thinking, didn't he just do a video on making a Pinolite cabochon not too long ago? Yes, I did. And that was this stuff here. This is the stuff I ordered and I kind of complained about it a little bit. This Pinolite, but it didn't have the white flowers like I was looking for. So I got a call from Highland Park and they offered to make things right, which was really huge of them. And I said, no, I'll just work with what I got here and made okay looking cabochon. So then, just out of the blue, they sent me another chunk of Pinolite and this is what I got. And this is kind of what exactly I was looking for right here, the white with the black in it, the flowers. So once again, Highland Park Lapidary came through. I didn't ask for them to send this to me, but they wanted to make things right, and this is how they did it. So double thumbs up for them. I really appreciate it. So we'll get this out of the way here. So today, got it all kind of laid out here because I want to get this flower part kind of in there, so I had to kind of do a little pre-planning here. So we're going to use this shape here, and I already kind of marked it. We're going to go big, and so you remember where it's all at here, right there. Yeah, it looks about right. So that should capture the flower I want on the other side. So I got an ultrafine Sharpie. We'll mark this out here. So sometimes to get what you want, you got to go right in the middle of your slab. And sometimes you can come in on the edge and everything's fine. But it's not going to be wasted. I can still use this. I'll use this, and you know, it's no big deal. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down on the saw and I'm going to trim this out, and then we'll go over in the cab machine. We'll grind it down to the lines. We'll put a dop stick on it, and then we'll make cabochon of it. So I'll see you downstairs in the saw. All right, today we're on my 10-inch high-tech trim saw here. So we're going to trim out this chunk of Pinolite. Kind of crumbled right there, but I think we're still good. So let's go over to the cabbing machine and we'll cab this or grind it down to the lines. All right, we're on my 6-inch Kingsley North cabber here. We're going to start with the 80 grit, go to the 220 grit, and then 280 grit. And basically we're just going to grind it down to the lines here and get it ready to put a dop stick on it. All right, that's good on the 80 grit. Let's move over to 220 grit. There, we got it ground down the line. Now I'm noticing this is pretty soft stuff here, at least this batch. Hopefully we'll get a good shine out of it. When you're on this one here, don't stop, because you'll leave a flat spot, especially on a softer stone. So now we got it here. Now we're going to go over to 280 grit and take all the grind marks from the 220 grit off. Alright, I think we're doing pretty good here. We're going to put it on the dop pot, heat it up so we can get a dop stick on it, and then we'll be back and start making the cabochon out of it. Alright, we're all dopped up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the 80 grit, and I'm going to grind in what's called a girdle. That's going to be a flat edge up from the bottom here, about an 1/8 inch, 2 millimeter-ish, all the way around the cab. We'll start in the 80 grit and work our way. We'll get the girdle established, and then we'll work our way towards the top, and then we'll start doming it. And then once we're done with the 80 grit, we'll 220 grit, 280 grit, and then we'll move over to the polishing side. So let's start making a cab. Alright, I established my girdle here. This stuff is pretty soft, so this ain't going to take too long. So you can see I got the girdle all the way around the bottom edge here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and hit this edge here and work my way towards the center of the cab. Stay away from the girdle now, because you don't want to cut in that anymore. You established that. So let's work our way towards the center. Alright, kind of work my way towards the center here. You can kind of see I got a rough dome going here, like that. So now we'll start doming it. So when you're swinging it back and forth, try to stay away from your girdle here so you don't cut into it. Alright, that's good enough for the 80 grit. Let's move to the 220 grit. Alright, looking good so far. Let's move to the 220 grit. Or 280 grit. Take a good look at it here. Alright, I'm liking that. That nice round edges look pretty good. Let's move on to the polishing side. Alright, we are on the polishing side. We have a 600, a 1200, a 3000, then I got cerium oxide around the corner here. So let's start at 600. Okay, on to the 1200. Now we'll move over to the 3000. Alright, kind of curious to see how we're doing here. Not too bad. Not for 3000 grit. Let's see if we can bump this a little bit on the cerium oxide. So this is my cerium oxide disc here. It screws into the end of the shaft, and it's got a sticky pad impregnated with cerium oxide. Works really good, not messy, and I like it a lot. Let's try this out and see if we can bump this cab a little bit. Let's see what we have. A little paper towel here, a little t-shirt, and there you have it. Pinolite. So I'm going to throw this in the freezer upstairs to get it off the stick, and then we'll take a closer look at it. Let's see how we did here on this Pinolite cabochon. There it is right there. Pretty good shine. It's kind of, this black stuff's kind of crumbly in there, but I don't think it hurts the overall appearance of this cab. So I was trying for the floweries bits in there, like in here. I ended up getting a black star is all I'm seeing right now. But I like the contrast. So this is the one that the piece they sent me, obviously. And this is the cab from the darker pieces here. So you can kind of see the difference there. Obviously the size difference, but that's a piece of that there. So I don't know. This is the one I was interested in, but I think they both made pretty good cabs. So I'll put a link below for Highland Park Lapidary if you want to take a look at what they got. As you can see, their customer service is stellar, so I'm quite happy with them. So let's turn the camera around and finish this up. So we took a chunk of this second piece of Pinolite here. I think we made a pretty cool cabochon out of it. So this will end up on Etsy, and actually I put 45 cabochons on Etsy, so I'm trying to catch up. I got another 45 I got to put on there. I'm way behind, but this will end up on there pretty soon. So next week I have a piece of wild horse jasper I bought from the Richardson Rock Ranch. So we're going to slice this up and see if we can get a pattern out of this scenic pattern. So I got 3 or 4 pieces, so I got a lot of opportunity there. I told you this will be on Etsy. This video comes out every Saturday where I take the rough rock and you just saw. And then I got another series on Wednesday where I cut 10 rocks in half, whether I find them or the viewers find them, and then I make a cabochon out of each one, and I'll show that in the following video. I'm going to put a playlist up here. I'll put the playlist up for this series of videos, and then I'll put the video for the first piece of Pinolite I did, the darker stuff, if you want to watch that, and you can come back and check this one out, see which one you like the best. So I think that's all I got, and I'll catch you later.